Remember. Shit, I forgot. By Mark Sorensen. I'd like to start with a moment of silence for those children in Rushville that were in the accident, please.
Yeah, Father God, help us with these children. And so just let us pray for them and give you a moment of silence. Dear Heavenly Father, as we're gathered tonight, we pray for your blessings on all of us as we do your will. Also, we pray for our constituents whom we serve. There is a lot of turmoil and anger in our community. Help us to do our best to serve with love and joy in our hearts. As we approach National Agriculture Week, we are reminded of the farmers and ask for safety for them in the fields and in transit. We thank you for the blessings you have given us with abundance of food from their labor. God, please continue blessing America. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I ask the clerk to please call the roll. It's 7 o'clock. I'm not stopping.
John McCoy.
Here.
Tim Finley.
Here.
Robert Rich.
Here.
Brad Poulter.
Here.
David McCleary. Les Post. Teresa Bachhold.
Here.
Joe Zanger. David McCleary.
Here.
Todd Dusterhouse.
Here.
Brett Austin.
Here.
Keith Calloway.
Here.
Mark Sorensen.
Here.
Barb Fletcher.
Here.
Ryan Hincamper.
Here.
Dave Bellis.
Here.
Marvin Kirkhoff. Mark Dietrich.
Here.
Steve McQueen.
Here.
Travis Cooley.
Here.
Kent Snyder.
Here.
One last call for Les.
No.
Okay.
He texted me today and said he could not make it.
Okay,
Les and Brent Fisher are both excused absences. Before we get started, I would like to have Mr. Terry Byers come up front, unless he, oh, there you are. Terry. Many of you know, some of you don't. This is a guy that, when it snows, he's here at 4 in the morning. He's the guy that calls me and gets me out of bed. 5:36 in the morning, so we can decide if we're open the courthouse. He gets all the complaints. It's too hot. It's too cold. When's the mold going to be gone? does it all, and at the end of the day, he comes back ready for another fight tomorrow. He's a good hard worker, he's my friend. Things have been different since we hired Terry. He probably saves the county more money than he costs us in wages. We farmed everything out prior to Terry, plumbing, electrical, everything. And Terry just, if something breaks, he goes to Home Depot and gets the part, comes back and fixes it, and shows somebody else how to fix it. So, yeah, it's been an amazing relationship for us and for him, I hope. Mr. Bellis, you want to say?
I work with him, talk to him daily. Problems, he gets it taken care of, comes in nice weekends when needed. 3 o'clock in the morning, if the alarm goes off on the computer screen, it goes right to his phone. He takes care of it. And I just want to stand up here with him to show him support. Hopefully, I'm sure y'all do too, but I don't know what this county would be without him and his crew.
Yeah.
So, I know. Killing it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the support that the board has given us, maintenance crew, Chairman Snyder. Building and Grounds is always very supportive on the ideas that I bring to them. Finance works with me. I know that I throw out some big numbers at them at times.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
My sheriff who lets me run with what I have to fix, so I appreciate all the support. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I have a good staff that helps me along. Thank you.
Usually the employees hate those, but they're actually one of the most fun things that I get to do. So, let's see. 19-2, I declare a quorum. No one registered to speak. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
As printed.
Second.
Motion by Todd, second by Ms. Fletcher. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Minutes are approved as printed. Transportation, Building, and Technology, Mr. Ellis.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder. Your committee met this evening at 6 o'clock, reviewed the bills, seemed to be in order. Had reports from the Highway Department and IT. The firewall is in place. Where's he at? And yeah, there he is. You want to say anything about it?
We switched over our firewalls this past week, and they're all active and functioning just fine.
And a warning in soon, March, maybe, a little after, they're gonna redo our key fobs and all that good stuff. We have a few resolutions, if the clerk could call A.
We have resolution number 2024-03-501-005, resolution reporting the bids for the March 5th, 2024 county motor fuel tax maintenance materials letting for metal culverts.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Bellis,
Second.
second by Mr. McCleary. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Resolution number 2024-03-501-006, resolution reporting the bids from the March 5th, 2024 road district motor fuel tax maintenance materials letting for oil culverts and lignin.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Zanger, second by Mr. Hincamper. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? So ordered.
Resolution number 2024-03-501-007, resolution reporting the bids and awarding the contract for the March 5th, 2024 maintenance letting for pavement marking on various county highways.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Mr. Hincamper. Mr. Zanger, sorry. Second by Mr. Bellis. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? So ordered.
Resolution number 2024-03-501-008, resolution reporting the bids and awarding the contract from the March 5th, 2024 maintenance letting for the crack sealing of various county highways.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bellis, second by Mr. Hincamper. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Resolution number 2024-03-501-009, resolution reporting the bids and awarding the contract for the March 5th, 2024 maintenance letting for Rejuvenator and various county highways.
Go ahead.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Zanger,
Second.
second by Mr. Hincamper. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? So ordered.
Resolution number 2024-03-501-010, resolution for the replacement of the bridge carrying County Highway 11 over the South Fork of Bear Creek, appropriating $71,000 to the design engineer and authorizing the county board chairman to sign professional service agreement with Hutchinson Engineering LLC.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bellis, second by Mr. McCleary. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? So ordered. New business.
Okay, new business. We emailed out the study from RTM last week to everybody that we had approved for the heating and air conditioning for the courthouse. And hopefully y'all had time to read it. And it's pretty bad. If you remember in the report, some of the material, or some of the like boilers and stuff was back in 1950, and other parts that when they remodeled in 1990 are still there. And they showed on one of the pages the life expectancy of that equipment. We are well past it. So we just got a estimate of construction cost from the company. It's on your desk, I believe, tonight. I'm not going to vote on it tonight because it's not on our agenda as far as spending $7.4 million. But just to let you know what's coming up, there were two estimates. One was VRF and one was for chiller and boiler like we have now with all the problems on the leaks and everything. So your committee voted unanimously to accept the bid for the VRF, not saying that we're wanting to spend it tonight. It's going to take 6 months at least for the engineering to be done, another couple months to put it out for bid. It is what it is. It's going to take probably 2 to 3 years to demo and put in new. I was at Finance Committee last night, and they were all aboard. They can't wait to spend it. I'm teasing. But
let the record show I was absent from the Finance Committee.
But seriously, it's something we got to do. RTM, the engineering company, it used to be Brick that we used on the health department, the jail, anything else we did. It seemed like we got a great relationship. They were very detailed in their report, and they're getting booked up. They have 4 projects ahead of us. If we don't kind of commit to them, let me ask Terry. He talked to him. Can you come up here, Terry, and kind of explain that better than me?
Talking with Tom Buckeye, who did the study for us. Talking to Tom Buckeye, who did the study for us. After last night's discussion, we had talked about the fact that they're getting booked up, and if we don't say that we're going to use them and we're going to have this project done, then the projects that are next in line, that we could be moved to the back of the line, which means that we could probably start this thing in a year and a half, 2 years down the road. So if we approve the fact that we can use them and then we secure funding, however we secure funding, the fact that it's going to not happen until basically October, November, maybe December. And it's a 2-year turnaround. We still have time. We just don't want to lose our spot in line. And if the county wants to wait, then that's their alternative. At least we can say that we tried.
And these figures are worst case scenario. Nights, weekends, we wouldn't shut down any offices. The pencil marks are shown where we've deleted, like we just put all new lighting in 3, 4, 5 years ago. We can still reuse that. The drop ceiling, the panels, the track, they can label it instead of tearing it out, putting all brand new in. Save us a ton, a couple million there if you looked at the typed totals. So Terry's been working on it real hard with RTM, and
if that's why they're crossed out, because when he did this as a worst case scenario, he'd take down every drop ceiling in every room, and told him that when we did the health department a year or so ago, we took the drop ceiling down. We had Fisher do it. And they labeled it and they put it right back up. He said it was also replacing the lighting. Every one of the lights. Well, we just had this lighting project done 4 or 5 years ago. So with a 10-year guarantee on these lights, so we're not going to do that either. That's why they're scratched out, and it's almost $2 million taken out. And this is a worst case scenario. The bids could come in $1 million less, but a lot of this work almost all this work is done at nighttime. They have to go in every office, put plastic over top the computers, and the office holders can come in the next day with their workers, and they're not going to have a ceiling, but they can at least finish their job and do their job every day. You can't shut down the state's attorney's office or any other office for 3 and 4 months at a time. So we still have to be functional. That's why everything's done at nighttime.
Could you explain to the other members of the board too the difference between the VRF system versus the boiler system?
Sure.
Just so they're aware as well.
Sure. On a VRF system, is variable refrigerant flow is what that means. And on a day like today, I got an email from Judge Larson that's at 61 degrees in my office. And I understand that because last night it was only 45 degrees was a low. Anything below 44 degrees, the heat runs. Anything above 44 degrees, the heat does not run. So on the north side, it's cooler where his office and courtroom is. But on the south side, we have solar gain from the sun. And those courtrooms get anywhere from 75 to 80 degrees. If we have a jury pool in the jury room 2E, it has been 80 degrees in there before. And all alternative is to go up and to get some fans for them. The fact of the matter is when this whole thing with mold came up, that we were told we need to bolt the windows shut so we don't have a negative pressure inside of the building. Before that, everyone took a matter in their own hands to control their own space by opening up the windows. Now they're bolted shut. Now we have to control the space. So this is what we're up against is we got a lot of solar gain on the south side. They could use air conditioning, and north side could use heat. Variable refrigerant flow is when the refrigerant flows one direction, it's air conditioning. When it reverses, it's heat. So the other thing is with the boiler system, we still have water running above our head. And we don't want that because every little spot that is on a drop ceiling tile that is not fully insulated, then you get pictures that people put on social media that says we got mold all over the courthouse when we really don't. So we got to eliminate the system above our head. The boilers are old. The chiller, we put $10,000 in last year just to have air conditioning. Some of these pipes have been here for a long time. Over a period of time, these things are going to start leaking. And we don't want that to happen either because then we're really up against a wall. So that's why we had the study done.
Terry, do you mind answering a quick question? How often do you get calls, resources directed towards problems with air comfort?
every day.
Daily, and they're not good calls, trust me. I have some that the office holders get upset, and I can understand their position. I understand totally. But I gotta be the person that's, can take it and understand it, but it's hard to explain to them because they don't quite guess that it functions off of outside air.
Is the
Is the VRF system, is it a split system? So you got inside and outside units? Is that? or
Yes.
It
Yep.
is? Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you.
And it's much more energy efficient than what we spend right now.
I have three questions. One is, I'm seeing that there's, I'm assuming that you've got what is it, 7.5 million for option one. And then you've got
6.9.
8.4 million for option two.
No, if you look at your first page, 7.5 million, but you actually
So that's 7.9.
flip the page over, and that has his engineering cost in it, which is another 800,000, so it takes it 8 million.
So this is addition.
That's basically what it is the first page talks about everything except his design cost.
Right.
Which is on the second page. Same thing on the third page, goes to the fourth page.
Okay, because as I'm looking at this, page 1 and 2 has option 1, and then page 3 and 4 is option 2. So I'm assuming there's two separate.
Yes, and the option one is a VRF system. Option 2 is the boiler's chiller system.
Okay, that makes sense. Why is there a $1.2 million difference between page 1 and page 2 on option A, and then a $1.5 million difference on option B?
It's, according to Tom, if you look on page 1, page 2, where he's got that red line, it was red, but it's, when I printed it out, it didn't come out red. His engineering cost is also in there. That's a $700-some thousand that he has to engineer. That's what it would cost us to have him engineer this.
Okay, because I'm just looking at the raw numbers, and it looks like it's 1.2 and 1.5, but that's fine. The other one too is this system. What do you expect to have as like a depreciation period on it before it needs to be replaced again?
20 years.
20.
Mhm.
Okay.
The compressors inside there may go, but the compressor, you can still handle the space because there'll be more and more of those. There's not just one in each individual room.
Okay. And then what's the time period you think this would take to actually for completion?
2.5 years.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Jared?
And we'd pay as we go.
Yes.
So you're talking about the efficiency, so how much more efficient would this system be than what we have in right now? So we could sell it with the cost, the cost you're saying.
Well, Marvin, right now, in the summer, we go through 21,000 gallons of water a month. That is, evaporation. So you add that up each month that thing is running, that's a lot of water. And our energy efficiency, because, it's more electric, it's not gas. Right now, we use all gas boilers, and that's a lot of gas. When those things fire up, it's a tremendous amount of gas that goes through those.
So what do you think, 20% efficiency, or we'll say 20% a year, or what?
I would have to ask Tom, but I bet it's pretty close.
All right.
Any other questions?
I got a quick question. I'm totally ignorant about this whole thing, but there's at least 5 or 6 buildings in town that HVAC systems weren't adequate for our latitude. And I can rattle them all off. Even some of the schools are concerned. Are we above and beyond that with the engineering?
No, actually, talking to some people about the VRF system in town here, and getting a little bit more knowledge about it. There's 4 buildings downtown that all switched to VRF down here recently.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Bellet?
I'd hate. Yes. Okay. So, just for information, Fisher's did our courtroom 3A, disposed of the carpet and the mold stuff back on the last holiday, President's Day, I believe it was. What everybody was out of the building. They discounted it by our bill by $560 because they didn't have to come in nights and weekends. The total was $2,811 to complete that job. So Terry came in on his day off, just for, not to pat him on the back again, but he spent his day here helping them, and then our guys put the carpet back in and painted. Saved us a ton of money. We did get a bid to replace the, youth detention center sidewalks partially. That has been terrible for several years. We kind of kicked the can down the road. We got a bid for $23,970. That's part of the 911 buildings, sidewalk, and youth detention. Finance last night helped us vote on that, and Ryan Niekamp had some grant money left over, I think around 14,000. And then finance will take it out of contingency to get that paid for and get that contract signed and get that going. It came in unbelievably about $2,000 less than it was 2 years ago. They got 2 bids. Yeah, good thing everybody's sitting down. So, with that said, how about it?
Do we need to make a motion on retaining RTM or referring this to finance, Mr. Chairman?
I would like to make a motion to retain, get on their books for RTM and kind of throw it in finances. It's a chunk of money and I hate spending it, but as you've seen in that report, some of the stuff's from 1950 and 1990, and it explains how outdated or what the life expectancy is of a heat and AC unit for what we have, and every bit of it is exceeded its life expectancy. So I would like to get on RTM's books and then start filling out grants, federal, EPA, whatever we can find. So move.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Bellis, second by Mr. Hincamper. Discussion.
I've got some. Is the engineering a deliverable item if we don't complete the project now? Terry? Is the engineering packet a deliverable item if we don't complete the job now? Do we pay them $800,000, get a complete system designed, and then can't afford to do it for 2 years, and we can still use their design? Okay. All right. There's no financial picture that exists that this isn't a bond. The bonds market right now, I just looked, we hit the absolute trough of the bond market when we built the jail. I think our bonds are at like 2.45%. You're looking at 7, 8, maybe 7.5% for a municipal bond at this point. So the realistic costs of the best case on the best option is probably more like $11 million to the county compounded over time. Even if you strung that out for 19 years, which is kind of the limit, you're looking at putting an extra $500,000 or $600,000, maybe $600,000 a year into bond payments. And while that is maybe something that could be acceptable, I think through the bond payment, you're going to almost assuredly, this is going to raise a tax rate almost assuredly, because I don't see that kind of, even though EAV's been up nicely, and we haven't even had to, we haven't even taxed the full advantage of that in terms of the revenue, tax revenue. You're most assuredly going to have that as a trickle-down effect of this. And then last kind of point on that is that, are we putting 25% of the value into an HVAC system that it would cost to build a new building? If you're looking at $11 million for this as a bond over time, this kind of gets into what the school district was facing when they were evaluating $60-some million to renovate existing school buildings, or $90 million to build 5 new buildings. At what point is the flip over point where it doesn't make a lot of sense to do this? So those are the questions I would ask from a financial picture.
I really appreciated the fact that you asked the question that, is the engineering piece of this a standalone deliverable? Because that's an important question. We need to know that answer. And that's a very good point about looking at that total value. I would also say that as we're looking at this, it might make sense to go ahead and analyze and look a little harder at the energy efficiency of, the old antiquated system versus the new system. That tells you a lot about what you're getting for your money, especially if you decide to spend that level of money. And then, kind of the next step to that is, just understanding is, have we looked at everything with this building, Brett, just going back to your statement that you just made, are we really looking at what other challenges reside here, And I'm not saying that's the right answer by any means, but I think he brought up a good point that it would be a good time to be looking at those things as these $7, $8, $11 million, repairs and upkeep of this building. It's a good time to look and say, is that really our best bet long term? And it may be, and it may be our only choice. I don't know, but it would be a good time to analyze that a little bit. So
I think those are all good points, and I think that if anyone has a better idea or a good idea, then bring it forward. So I don't think this is the be all end all necessarily, but if someone else has a better idea, then let somebody know. That's all I'm saying.
Could we ask, it's RTM, right? Could we ask RTM to do kind of a phase 1 efficiency study to give us an idea of what our payback is? Because if you're talking, like I just threw out numbers of $650,000, $700,000 a year in bond payments for 19 years to do this, if you're talking we're going to save $380,000 in utilities and gas and water and stuff, that's kind of a no-brainer. That the net value goes way down then to 5 or 6 million, and then that's not even a tenth of what it's probably going to cost to build a courthouse. So then your equation's a lot different. But that's kind of like a big question to have as an unknown. Is there any way to hire them to do the beginning part? Probably not exactly the question they want to get asked because they wanted the whole enchilada. But, working for engineering firms in my background, we did do phase 1 assessment studies like that as a lead-in to get the job. And if that's as far as we can go right now, I mean, I would fully support spending X number of dollars, even if it's like $25,000, to do a study that shows us what the efficiency trade-off is before we spend $700,000 on a system we may not be able to afford in 2 years.
And until we get the results of such a study as that, you don't have a number to work with, right? So it might give us a little more insight into the total picture without spending $800,000 to be able to make some better decisions. And the whole world's about sustainability and energy these days anyway. So, I think if we look at that a little bit harder, it may show a different value proposition for this project or possibly for something else, but something good to look at.
This is something I'm looking at too, you're going to have a annualized cost on project option 1 of $853,000, and then on option 2, it's like, what is it? Actually, $432,743 option 1, and then with option 2, it's $420,543 a year, which is going to actually cost over the 20-year lapse. So I'm not even sure if that bond would even be enough to cover. And plus, we need to start looking at a way to have a factor for replacement costs in the next 20 years. So where you have that money, it's also available. So we're not having this project come up as a surprise again. So it might be worth to try to do a bond that's actually higher.
Well, we have a motion and a second on the floor.
Right now, Terry's kind of done some figuring on the the cooling tower. Last year we spent 10 grand to patch it, and we hope it works this air conditioning season. The water bill was, what'd you say, 175,000? Or is that the gas and the water? Together. So,
It was 175,000 for the whole year for gas and water.
Well, I'd have to go back and look for sure, but I know that we spent 20,000, we go through 20,000 gallons of water a month. So I would have to look all that stuff up again.
That would,
My utilities are high, and don't forget that, we have three boilers down in the building, so we don't want it to sit there. Just in case.
well, just a plain devil's advocate, if our entire utility bill was even $200,000 a year, divided by 12, you're never going to see enough savings to justify this, not even close. I mean, this would be just because of efficiency and other reasons. It certainly wouldn't be because of an energy offset at that amount of money over its lifespan. Unless we find out that utility bills were $200,000 a month or something, but that doesn't seem to be what you're saying. Even if utility bills were $500,000 a year, this wouldn't have the offset, because you'd only be looking at 40 grand a month that you could possibly carve into, and you know it's not going to be zero. So 20,000 a month we save for 240,000. This wouldn't. I mean, it wouldn't. From that standpoint, from an energy efficiency, what you gain if you change to this type of system, there's no way it would pay for itself in 20 years on that alone. I understand there's other complications in doing that, and I understand the entire system could fail as it sits, and you'd be spending $1 million to fix an existing system.
I'm more concerned with it failing as it sits, with all the maintenance issues that Terry basically puts up with as far as working on the boilers, the chillers, the piping, and that doesn't even begin to consider the complaints from the employees in the building as far as too hot, too cold, and working condition wise. So, the water tower. So it's a matter of we may be forced into a situation where if we kick the can down the road, that we are putting $1 million, $2 million into a system that we don't even want, just to get things back online again. I don't have a crystal ball. If anyone in the room has one, I would love for you to use it and let me know how this is going to go. So,
Mr. Niekamp is working on a grant. I'm not sure how much that is, but y'all go home tonight, you turn your heat on, you turn your air conditioner on, and it don't work. What are you going to do? You explain it to the employees. I hate this happened, but this equipment has not been addressed for many, many years. Buildings and Grounds Terry gets them. I get emails. It's hot. It's cold. What are y'all going to do when you go home? You ain't got no heat. We got employees that need to be happy.
Truly, bluntly, I don't think there's enough information here for all of us to make an informed decision. I don't think you need to go down the road of the energy efficiency study based on those numbers. It's never going to pan out from that standpoint. But having the deliverable as an engineering company would be something I absolutely want to hear, that we can have a ball in hand to go play this game with later. And then secondly, I'd like to investigate what percentage of this is, because this was done with the jail. I'd like to investigate what percentage of this is towards building a new courthouse at this point.
What was done with the jail?
The idea of renovating the existing jail, the cost of that.
Oh, okay.
versus building a new jail. And it was a third, if I remember right, at the time when the jail was going to be 24 million and not 32 million, because we waited 2 years. At the time, it was a third of the money to renovate what was in this building as a jail to just build a new one. And as that crept up and up, then obviously it made more sense. If this is a quarter of the cost of building a new courthouse, which everyone would like to see anyway, then bond the money to build the new courthouse and do that over 20 years and gain all of the benefits of that, rather than just not benefits of just an HVAC system.
And Brett, I'm in favor with doing the bond, where at least we're raising the money, so that way even in 1 year to 20 years from now, we're not here at this road again, irregardless. And if we're running 20,000 gallons of water a month, I mean, that's pretty insane. So I could see literally where we need to come up with something that's efficient. And just like we got caught with our pants down on this. So it just comes down to funding and coming up with who's going to come up with something that's adequate for the square footage for the building and for each of the different portions of the building, whether we build a new facility or we use the one that's here. And from that, and I agree with you, Brett, as far as in having it divided out between the different groups and sections. Because I know, like in our house, we've got like 9 HVAC systems in it. It goes from 1.5 to 10-ton units. So, I get that. And most importantly is being able to have the engineering study to where we have and come up with some companies that would actually meet the efficiency for the square footage and the design of this facility.
When the remodeling done was 1990, how many years ago was that? Oh, I know, 34 years ago. Life expectancy of the equipment we have now was 20 to 25. I'm not arguing, I'm not bragging or complaining, but we got to do something. And if we kick it down the road again, this is government. We got employees. We need them comfortable. How long will it take to build a new building? Do the study, find the property. It's not getting any cheaper. The jail was bid, was thinking 24 million, went to 32, whatever, under budget, but government moves slow and we don't need to.
What's our window of opportunity to keep our spot in line with this company? I hate when you get backed in a corner. If you don't do it right now, you can't do it, or you're going to get kicked down the line. That's not good business. But what is it? Do we have to make a $8 million decision on the first night we see this without all the other information that's come up? I think we have some good things to ask. We don't even know if we back out if we're going to get to keep the plan or not. I mean, there's an awful lot of things we don't know here to make a decision this quickly. I hate to, if 30 days is the end of the earth on $8 million, I don't know how responsible we are.
Well, I'd like to make a motion, if possible, to let's come up with an engineering firm.
There's already a motion on the floor.
Okay.
So there's a motion and a second. Do you want to vote on it, or is there amendment to the motion?
Please clarify the motion 100% so we can understand it.
Ryan, read it back.
Motion to get on RTM's docket, if you will, list.
The motion is to retain RTM and refer to Finance Committee, seconded by Mr. Hincamper. Original motion made by Mr. Bellis.
So just for clarification, is that an $800,000 commitment tonight we're making?
Yes.
Hence why I asked the question, do we get to keep the engineering?
My understanding was the referral was to refer it to finance to see how this could be funded, not that we were spending the money.
Can we have the April cycle of meetings to get to that conclusion? Or are we, because again, sorry I wasn't at the finance meeting, but the offshoot of what I heard was we had 48 hours to decide what we were doing.
Terry, can you talk to this? I haven't talked to Tom.
The way I'm kind of feeling about it is everybody wants to wait, and all I can do is call them and tell them that it's a huge decision that the county needs to make, and we need a little bit more time. And I think that's going to be our best scenario, the way that it sounds. And he can say, okay, then we're going to take on these other jobs, which is their obligation. They can do that. And we'll just see where we end up at that particular point.
I'd like to make a motion to. Go ahead. Sorry.
Motion.
No, I understand.
You can amend it.
I want to make an amended motion that we are going to refer this to finance as the motion said, and that the amendment would be that in the finance committee, we will take until the April meeting, the April finance meeting, to evaluate the engineering and ask that question and get that answer for real. And that will also evaluate what the bond level market is over this period of time and when we would have to commit, and that we can give RTM an answer from finance on that Monday, but coming to this full board on Tuesday, so that Tuesday of the April meeting. And if they could hold their ability for us until then. My motion would be that this is going to get referred to finance out of this thing, and what I'm amending is that I want the answer to be that we get the engineering and that we get a chance to look at the bond market before that final decision.
And I'd second that.
And that would be on Wednesday.
Yes, the meeting's on Wednesday next month.
Great.
Okay, so.
I have a second on the amended motion.
You do?
I do.
Who? Oh, okay. Okay, second by Mr. Callaway. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Okay. We're good. All right. Anything else, Mr. Bellis?
No, thank you all. I'm sorry to throw it out there like this, but
Can we have a representative of the engineering company? I hate to buy a $8 million car and not even have a salesman. And they could answer those questions. If
it's pretty
somebody's
much in
standing
that
there.
report that we emailed out last week.
Yeah. Terry says yes. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, April 10th at 6 o'clock in the Law Library.
All right. Thank you. Dr. Rich?
Mr. Chairman, the committee met this evening at 5:45, reviewed bills from the Circuit Clerk, Juvenile Detention Center, Probation Department, Public Defender, State's Attorney, Supervisor Assessments Office, and all the bills are in order. Had some things to discuss. We had some action items. Anthony Foster and Lamar presented an overview of what's going on at the Juvenile Detention Center. I was very pleased with the report. We've got 3 more counties that are referring people to us, and the construction's done. They have an organizational plan. I wish the whole board could have heard it. Actually, it was a very good thing to our committee. Moving along, the other thing that didn't require action is we did talk. It does not require any action on Chapter 5 of the solar farm. We just want everybody to understand that the committee that will be reviewing this will be the county board chairman, chairman of the Transportation Building Technology, chairman of Legislation and Judicial, 1 board member from the affected area, and the county engineer, just so we have that on the record that that's who's doing this, because this solar thing's moving right along. We have no resolutions or ordinances this evening, nothing to the county code. We have 3 appointments. I'd like the clerk to read them all 3, and then we'll approve them.
We have an appointment for James Geiker, Jerry E. Knoll, and Ted Parker, all for the as trustees for the Clayton Fire Protection District for a 3-year term beginning on the first Monday of May of 2024.
A motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Rich.
Second.
Second by Ms. Bachhold. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? So ordered.
We have one liquor license. It's for Ferrex Gardens. It's a one-day liquor license on April 27th. I'll have the clerk to read that, then we can approve it.
A 1-day permit request for Ferrex Gardens, Inc. for a sip and shop event to be held on April 27, 2024 at 3400 North 12th Street, Quincy, Illinois, 62305 from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Rich.
Second.
Second by Ms. Bachhold. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Had no pyrotechnic displays. That's the end of our business. We'll meet again April 10th, which is a Wednesday because of township nights on April 9th. We'll meet at 5:45 here in the county boardroom. Quick, and I didn't cost you any money.
No, you didn't. You didn't spend a dime.
We're the Dollar General of the committees.
Get
Thanks,
over
Doc.
to this committee. I'm
Public
teasing.
Health and Safety, Ms. Fletcher.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Your Public Health and Safety Committee met this evening at 5:33 in the ROE conference room. We went over the bills. They were reviewed and appeared to be in order. We had no speaker. The minutes of the prior meeting were approved. We received a report from the from John Simon, head of the Emergency Management and Ambulance. He has a resolution which the county clerk would please read, please.
We have resolution number 2024-03-211-010, resolution of rep adopting the 2023 Adams County Multi-Jurisdictional Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan for the County of Adams.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mrs. Fletcher, second by Mr. Sorensen. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? So ordered.
We received our report from the coroner. He reported 83 reported deaths, 4 autopsies, 0 abandoned remains, 41 cremation permits issued. And he wished to thank the sheriff and EMS for their excellent teamwork that they have provided over the course of the last several months. They have worked together as a team, and he was greatly appreciative of their efforts. The sheriff reported 2 new hires, 2 departures, and an average jail population of 98. We talked a little bit about the school finance resource officer, which is on your agenda. Oh, where is it? It's on it. The sheriff's discussion of the school resource officer is on your agenda for tonight, isn't it?
Yes.
So we won't go over that at all. We also, the sheriff also reported that federal inmates will be arriving within the next 2 weeks, which will be good for the county. We received a report from the Veterans Assistance Commission. They have dealt with 33 clients since January the 2nd. They're awaiting their final VA certification. They've developed policies, met with the delegate board twice. They are coordinating with 56 other VACs throughout the state of Illinois for information. And they have so far met with 33 organizations and entities throughout the county. So they're getting their feet on the ground and starting to deal with veterans. There was no new business, no appointments, and no executive session, and our meeting closed at 18:45. Our next meeting will be on Wednesday, April 10th, 2024, at the ROE conference room.
Thank you, Ms. Fletcher. Sheriff, would you like to say a couple of things about your resource officer?
You're gonna move this over for me.
Oh,
So I don't have to walk around.
Never give Tony Groton.
So, I'm not asking you guys for any money tonight. I'm gonna wait until next budget year. We're in the process of hiring 2 more deputies this spring. And that's gonna be 2 resource officers. We won't hire the new deputies and put them right in the schools. We want them to go to the road, learn how to be the police, and then we'll pick from within the ranks, 2 individuals this year to go to the schools. Next year, I'm gonna come to you and ask for 2 additional positions, so we have every school in the county covered. I know it's been 1 deputy for the entire county that was assigned to the schools. And that, to me, in today's environment, we can't risk it. We have to address the issue. And so that's really it.
Okay.
How easy was that?
That was easy, Sheriff. Thank you. Just like Doc Rich, you didn't spend a dime. Executive Committee, Mr.
Are
Austin.
you throwing me under the bus?
We met here in the county boardroom March 4th at 5:30. We had a relatively short meeting. We did have 1 resolution to, if the clerk could read that, please.
We have resolution number 2024-03-001-011, a resolution to appoint the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund, IMRF, authorized agent for the County of Adams.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Austin. Second by Mr. Callaway. Discussion.
It's just time for us to have a new designated authorized agent, which is going to be our director of the county board office. And it's just a normal cycle of how this works.
Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? So ordered.
Thank you. Our next meeting for the executive committee will be on April 1st at 5:30 here in the county boardroom.
Finance?
We met here last night. We went over bills. Everything looked fine. They were approved. We did have a presentation on credit cards last night that Ryan Niekamp put on, as well as a couple folks from First Bankers Trust. Looks like we're going to be switching over credit card vendors. Ryan, do you want to expand on anything of that nature?
Yeah, I mean, I can real quick. The new credit card vendor would allow us to have a little bit more accountability. Not that we don't already. It just allows us for have more reporting mechanisms for department heads and also for individual users. And then also as a control account, we'll be able to administer a little bit more. It's more administrative driven, as in we'd be able to do everything more in-house, set up credit limits, set up a new approved employee with a credit card and items like that. So it's a vast improvement to what we currently have.
Yeah, everything looked great on our end. I think we all sat here and we unanimously approved that. I don't know if we need to take any direction as far as tonight goes, but it definitely looked like a major improvement of what we currently have. Regarding number 4 there, I'll have Ryan, if you would, the clerk, read A under finance, please.
Additional fund appropriation from Ryan A. Camp County Clerk and Recorder in the amount of $100 to revenue account line number 00100141118. Revenue Commercial Energy Facility Permitting for revised budget amount of $100 and $100 to expense account line number 00100015563. Expense Commercial Energy Facilities Permitting for revised budget amount of $100.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Cooley,
Second.
second by Mr. Finley.
So what this is just, this is an account just to create for potential solar and wind farm permits. That way those deposits can roll in. That way we have it available to us.
Any questions? Roll call vote.
John McCoy,
Yes.
Tim Finley,
Yes.
Robert Rich,
Yes.
Brett Poulter,
Yes.
David McCleary,
Yes.
Les Post, Teresa Bachhold,
Yes.
Joe Zanger,
Yes.
Brent Fisher, Todd Dusterhouse,
Yes.
Brett Austin,
Yes.
Keith Calloway,
Yes.
Mark Sorensen,
Yes.
Barb Fletcher,
Yes.
Raheem Camp,
Aye.
Dave Bellis,
Yes.
Marvin Kirkhoff,
Yes.
Mark Dietrich,
Yes.
Steve McQueen,
Yes.
Travis Cooley,
Yes.
Kent Snyder.
Yes.
19 in favor, 2 absent.
19 in favor, 2 absent. Fund appropriation is approved.
Then I will go ahead and have the clerk read 2 under finance, please.
Transfer a budget appropriation from Anthony Foster, Director of Court Services, the amount of $7,500 from account number 00500015713, American Rescue Plan expense, revised budget amount of $2,780,500 and $7,500 to account number 00500015905, ACE program expense, revised budget amount of $7,500.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Finley, second by Mr. Cooley. Or did I back that? Okay.
Reverse.
Any discussion?
So what this is just allocating the last amount of the ACE funds. This just cleans up that line item. So this is the very last portion of that we allocated a few years back.
Any questions? Roll
Yeah,
call vote.
could you repeat that? Which I can't hear you.
Yeah, so this is just allocating the last bit of the ACE program that we promised a few years back. So this is the last fund appropriation for that.
Okay. Roll call vote.
John McCoy,
Yes.
Tim Finley,
Yes.
Robert Rich,
Yes.
Brad Poulter,
Yes.
David McCleary,
Yes.
Les Post, Teresa Bachhold,
Yes.
Joe Zanger,
Yes.
Brent Fisher, Todd Dusterhouse,
Yes.
Brett Austin,
Yes.
Keith Calloway,
Yes.
Sorensen,
Yes.
Barb Fletcher,
Yes.
Raheem Camp,
Aye.
Bellis,
Yes.
Marvin Kirkhoff,
Yes.
Mark Dietrich,
Yes.
Steve McQueen,
Yes.
Travis Cooley,
Yes.
Kent Snyder.
Yes.
19 in favor, 2 absent.
19 in favor, 2 absent. Transfer is approved.
Next, I'll go to new business. We've already heard from the sheriff regarding the school resource officers. 2 new hires have already been made, and they're looking for next year's budget season as far as 2 additional school resource officers.
Again, apologies to the finance committee that I couldn't make it back in time last night, unavoidable, and I appreciate that you took care of all this business and that we work together as we do. Just one quick item on insurance. We will be going to the CIRMA meeting here, which is our risk management association that we're in. This is their annual audit that's coming up, so I'll be able to report back where we sit with them. The fund is in pretty good shape and has been. We've even gotten a little bit of a dividend back from them over the last couple of years. But they are looking at making some changes in how membership is formed and recruiting other members. I think there's around 46 counties in it right now out of the 102 in Illinois. But we have definitely have had a good association with that. So we'll see where that heads, and hopefully we'll have some good to report back there. As far as our last item, I kind of wanted to lead this discussion into that. Our finance committee last night did approve the committee nominations and then discussed about the application review and the approval. So what I would like to do is make a motion to approve the housing committee nominations that were put forth by Grediff, and we will have an amendment as part of this most likely. So my motion is to approve the committee nominations.
Motion by Mr. Austin, second by Mr. Poulter.
There was discussion, and if someone on our committee wants to do this, there was discussion that we had written the program or approved the program with 5 committee members. 7 were put forward, and the committee nominations seemed very good and actually might expand the knowledge base of the committee a little bit. And I know the finance committee talked about that, so I'll let you guys take that.
Yeah, so we just expanded that. So last time we had approved 5 members. We appreciated the members that were brought forth. We have some county representation, so that's important for us as a countywide. We're here to not just get what we need here in the city of Quincy, but also for the full county. So we do have some county representation, so we do appreciate that as well. Outside of that, it looked like everything was exactly the way we presented it.
So you want to amend it from 5 to 7?
So I will amend our previous from 5 members to a 7-member committee for that.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Cooley, second by Mr. Rich. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Committee's approved.
The second item on that is really, we'll get another bite at this apple. I don't think action tonight. There is a housing draft application that was sent to you for reviewing. Really, it's the mechanism of the committee that needs to.
Sorry.
Do you want to? Was there 2 layers? Did we miss a layer? Are we good?
Are we good? Do we have to vote on both those motions? Just the amended motion?
Yeah, because it.
State's attorney trumps county clerk.
The amended motion was part and parcel of the whole. So, but on the draft application for the review and the approval of that, and what we would call the scoring matrix, I know the finance committee had some concerns that they wanted to look at that, but I think the committee that has just been nominated needs to grow. Pun fully intended, needs to grow into this and make sure that they're getting their input too. So that will come back as an approved mechanism of how to actually do the program. And of course, all that being said, at the final end of this, we will get an approval of the actual applications that are vetted and put forward. So I think they have a couple months worth of things to get done here. And then we'll have some action that will come back in around May. And the goal is still to try and be bringing in these first applications around the June timeframe. So that's all we had on that. Unless there's any questions.
Yeah, I actually had a question, and that is, could we, each of us get a copy of the actual draft so we could read it? And then come back and then vote on it next month and table it until we have a chance to read it?
It's probably going to be, well, we're not voting on the application. We're just letting that sit. It's out there. If you didn't get a copy of that, I know it was sent on March 5th to everyone, but I can specifically send that to you again, Keith, on tomorrow, if that's okay. But you're not taking any action on it tonight. It'll be sitting there waiting for them to have their comments about it. There is. I can resend that if anyone wants it electronically. Does that suffice for now, Keith? Is that what you needed?
I mean, that's fine. I'd just like to be able to read it before we vote on it. Because I know like what was proposed last month was like throw everything on the wall and see what sticks. So I would like a chance, other than the relative entities. And this one, I'd like at least read it first.
Understood.
If we can table it, then I'm fine with that.
There's nothing to table. We haven't done any, we're not making a motion on the application, just the committee. And so the committee's approved. They'll get to bite into this, and then we'll have some time to review everything that comes out of that. April 8th, which is the Monday, but the county board meeting's Wednesday, right? But we'll still have finance on the 8th, right, Ryan? Yes. Okay, so April 8th at 6 o'clock here in the county boardroom will be the next finance committee meeting. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Austin. New business?
We have no travel vouchers. We have monthly reports from the Supervisor Assessments Board Review, Juvenile Detention Center, the County Clerk and Recorder's Office, Public Defender, the Circuit Clerk's Office, Probation Department, monthly check register for February 2024, and Fund Summary Report for February 2024, including revenue and expenses.
Motion to receive, file, and forward.
Motion by Mr. Deucehouse.
Second.
Second by Mr. Zanger. Any discussion? So ordered. Oh. All in favor? Opposed? So ordered. Sorry. Appointments.
We have an appointment for Barbara Fletcher to the City of Quincy and Adams County Joint Emergency Telephone Systems Board, also known as ETSB, to commence on the first business day of May 2024 with the term expiring April 30, 2027.
So moved.
Second.
Entertain a motion by Mr. Bellis, second by Mr. Austin. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Appointment is approved. Proclamation.
We have a proclamation on National Agriculture Week, proclamation number 2024-001-003. It reads, on National Ag Day, Adams County recognizes the significant impact agriculture plays within our county, state, and country. Agriculture is Illinois' #1 industry and accounts for about 1 in every 17 jobs across the state. From farm fields to urban farms to manufacturing of food, fuel, and fiber, agriculture is essential to the daily lives of American citizens. Whereas Illinois accounts for 1.9 million farms, which equates to 880.1 million acres, whereas 96% of farms are family owned within Illinois, whereas today's farmers can feed an average of 164 people, whereas the U.S. agriculture produces a total of $543.1 billion in agriculture products in 2022, whereas the total market value of products sold by Adams County farmers in 2017 was $269 million. Whereas the American farmers and ranchers represent some of the oldest and most noble professions in our country, producing abundant and safe food for our nation and the world at large in an environmentally and responsible and sustainable manner. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, the Adams County Board recognizes March 17th through the 23rd of 2024 as National Agriculture Week. This board calls on its citizens to recognize and celebrate the contributions farmers and farm families have made to better the lives of our citizens.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Could you read that again?
It's a very good proclamation.
Thank you. And Ryan wrote that himself.
With help with Mr. Finley.
Correspondence?
We have correspondence from the Ameren Transmission Company of Illinois, Central Illinois Grid Transformation Program for Adams County.
Motion to receive, file, and forward.
Motion by Mr. Deucehouse.
Second.
Second by Mr. Zanger. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So ordered. No executive session. No action to take. Ryan, no Mountain Dew next month before the meeting. Talked a little fast. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, April 10th, not Tuesday. So please remember that. Thank you.